This is working. So today we're going to go over right hand technique. So I'm going to make sure that it's working. And if it is working, let me know. All right. All right, awesome. So today we're going to talk about right hand technique, and as always, there will be a live question and answer at the end. So send in questions on YouTube and on Facebook, and I'll answer them, and we can talk about more about our right hand or anything. So it's an open Q&A, and also there will be a special offer for everyone that sticks around. So stay tuned. Let me make sure I can see all your questions. And always leave other topics too you want us to cover below. Okay, awesome. Great. So, right hand technique. I made some notes too that I want to make sure, things that I cover, and I already have some questions too that I will cover from people that sent them in. But right hand technique is super important. It makes a huge difference with our speed picking or any kind of picking at all. So, sorry. Okay. So there's little tips and things to keep note of when you are picking. So it's pretty similar to the speed picking stuff that we've talked about, but our pick placement, and I guess to even go before that, how you hold the pick. So that might sound easy, but I think a lot of people might actually find it helpful too. So you kind of pretend like you're shaking hands, and then you place the pick right here, and then wrap your thumb down. So I only have one finger behind, and my pick is at an angle, so I'm picking all in a line. So a lot of this has to do with our placement of our arm too. It's all really important. You always want to be very relaxed when you're playing. You don't ever want to be super tense because you can actually get hurt too. Because remember, you are kind of, treat yourself like an athlete because it is straining and you're using muscles that you don't normally use any other way. So my pick is in a line, right? I kind of say adjust it after that initial hold it down, put everything down, because you want to be comfortable and everyone's different. So kind of adjust it like you hold a pen is what I would say. Always, always have your pick either in line with your arm or flat. I had a huge wrist injury when I was in school, and they said I would never play fast again, and it was really horrible, and I was so sad, and I ended up just really taking note of it and revising my technique, and I'm cleaner and faster, and it's a happy ending. But avoid the whole injury part and just do the right thing first. So all in a line or flat. It's kind of a shred thing to have your arm in a line, like diagonal like that. The pick in that direction. I'm sure I got it from Paul Gilbert. I was and am a huge Paul Gilbert fan. All the speed picking techniques I found very helpful. So in a line, that's how I do it, or flat. Don't ever do this. I think that's a huge mistake that people do, and that's what I did. I played like this, and I did that with a ton of tension and constantly, and I practiced like all the time that way, and I ended up really hurting myself. So all in a line. If it hurts, obviously stop and take a break. It's normal to have like slight fatigue and stuff, but rest. So the way we hold our pick. So Let me make sure you can see that. So I'm holding it like that. So in line with my arm. And shoulders down all the time. So let's see. You want to just be relaxed as possible. So shoulders down, pick in a line, arms good. Let's see so you can see. So you also, of course, want your hands to sync up, but since we're talking about our right hand, sorry, I think it cut out for a second. Since we're talking about our right hand today, let's talk about different ways that you can hold the pick. So I hold mine, let's see. I tend to go between the two, like have a fist and kind of a relaxed hand. The other option is to place your pinky on the body of the guitar and keep it planted. I never liked that one personally. I find it difficult and restraining, but John Petrucci does it, and he is pretty good. So I would say it can work for you. But those are the 3 different ways. So a fist, and just make sure that you're not touching the strings, because you'll mute them, and then it'll be quiet. Or a relaxed hand, or place down. So our right hand is a lot more important than it seems sometimes. We can mute with it, which is awesome. And you also, all these little things that are going to help you be faster, like not having your pick really far this way, so as close to the string as possible. That helps with speed and just being clean. All right, let's see if you guys have any questions. And, of course, there's also sweep picking. We won't go, I guess, as into that as we will with our alternate picking, which I should talk about first. So alternate picking is going down, up, down, up, down, up. So we're alternating between down and up. And it makes us even more than twice as fast, but at least twice as fast, right? Because every time you go down, you have to go up to go down again. So instead of ignoring that up and just skipping to that next down, we're utilizing it. So I did this one a lot. So if you guys know that one, we can do that one. Or we can switch it up into a 3-note per string. So I'm going 5th fret, 7, 9 on the 6th string, 5, 7, 9 on the 5th. I'm going down, up, down, up, down, up. And you can actually hear, if you go all down, there's a different tone to an up. So it's down and up. It's just slight, but it sounds a little smoother than just going, because it just sounds choppier if you're going down, 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 down. And it's normal when you're starting alternate picking to find that you're not truly alternate picking. You might be going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, but then accidentally doing 2 downs or doing 2 ups. So that's okay. It's totally normal, but just practice slow before you speed it up. Speed actually comes second nature. So the biggest thing is using muscle memory. So that's a big both hand thing, is that muscle memory is when you're like, oh, I didn't even think about that. And I just played that piece that I learned a long time ago. How did I do that? Because after training yourself to play the same thing so many times, you just know to do it. But if you learn that the wrong way, it works way to your disadvantage than working to your advantage if you slow it down. And make sure you're doing it right, and then when you speed it up, it's super easy. We're going to see. Make sure it's still working. How you guys doing? Oh, cool. It's working. Did you accidentally summon me? Oops. Oh, that was Siri. No. Okay. Can you describe a little bit about string switching and the motion in which you go about doing it really quickly? Okay. I hope I can. So let me make sure I understand your question. I think you're saying you understand when we're, and hi Jesse, I think you understand that when we're picking on one string, but you're having a little bit of trouble when we switch. So I talked about this a little bit before in another lesson, but I think it's a really excellent, helpful tip that I was told and helped me a lot. So when you're having trouble with anything in guitar, isolating that change helps a lot. So instead of looking at the whole scale or the whole lick, just spend some time on the problem area, and that helps a lot. So let's go to this one just because I like it. Okay, I want to do that one. So on the 6th string, I'm going 5, 7, 8, and then I drop to the 5th string just for one note, and then I come back to the 6th string, 8, 7, 5. So, but sometimes, that's a good question, because sometimes it is easy on one string, but when we get to that other string, it's hard. So all I'm doing is down, up, down, up. It's really just the same thing, but I would say isolate just that part and just practice this. Because it is a little bit weirder when you go to that. So making sure that that's clean. So it's still alternating, but it's actually, I was going to talk about this later, so that works. You probably also heard about inside picking and outside picking. This would be outside picking. It's still alternate picking, but we're on the outside of both of the strings. So if my fingers are strings, I'm picking outside, but you'll see that it's still a down to an up. An inside would be an up to a down. So they're inside the strings, here they're outside, which seems a little harder because it is. So we're going outside or inside. This case, outside. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down. But that makes it pretty easy for when we return, because then we're already ready for that down. So I would say my most helpful tip is isolating that and just practicing. You can do it on your own, or you could do it with a metronome, whatever you want. But once you get that a little bit easier and you just get more comfortable with it, it's like anything. When you learn a song, sometimes the first time you play it, you feel like it's impossible, but you play it a few more times and it's not so foreign to you anymore and it's easier. So that's what I would do. So you're having trouble with scale, so let's just go with the minor scales. So I'm going down, up, down, up, down, up. So down, up, down, and then outside picking, down, up, out, no, then outside picking. So it's pretty much the same thing, but just it's a wider movement because it's not the same string. So just isolate it and practice that. All right, I hope that helped. Facebook. Sorry, I have to toggle between the two. Yes, Tim is asking, okay, the pick was, that's a good analogy. David said if the pick was an ice skate, keep it high, so like skating across the strings. Don't dig deep. So what he's saying is don't put your pick way behind the string because see how much more effort that takes to push over, and it's not going to sound that great. So keeping it as close to the string as possible. I had a teacher too once. He would have me practice and actually not practice by playing any notes, specifically just going or muting. Especially with rhythm things, he would have me mute, but by just picking down and up, you kind of hear how even you're picking something. And that helps a lot. So knowing how much weight you want in your hand and the dynamic, etc. So Tim is asking about sweep picking. Sweep picking is awesome. It is hard. I think it's hard, but I also really enjoy it. And it has gotten easier over time. But for me personally, speed picking was just my thing. It took work for sure, but it was more natural for me than sweep picking. So with sweep picking, sorry. So with speed picking, I'm going to use this shape. And we can actually also just start with 2 strings if you want to. So first, I'll show you this one and see how you feel. But the coolest thing about sweep picking is it sounds easy because you are just dragging, but you also have to be very controlled, and your hands have to be totally synced. So I start with a down, and that's the 12th fret to the 8th fret. So 12, mine's kind of crazy looking. So 3, 5, 7, 9, and then the M is 12. So pinky, pull off to pointer, and then up, 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 and then down. So. But that's what's kind of hard is it's all up. But whenever we either turn it around or we go back up, we have down, we flip it. So it goes down, pull off, and I flip. So. And let's start with a smaller shape, I think would be easier. So I'm just going to do 3 strings, so it'll show the flipping a lot better. So 12 to 8 on the first string, 10 with my middle finger on the 2nd string, and then pointer on the 9th fret, 3rd string, and then just right back up. So down, pull off, up, but since this is a shorter one, I'm not doing a ton of ups. Right away to down, 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 up. So I hope that makes sense. What I'm doing is I'm flipping when I get to either end. So here I'm going down, down, down until it's time to go up. The string right before I'll flip it. So down, pull off, up, down, 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 up, up, down. I think I have a lot of fun with it. You can throw them whatever you want, I don't. All right. Cool. I'm glad that helped. Awesome. So we'll have a little bit more of this, and then we're going to have an open Q&A in just a little bit, and a special offer. So, yes, so just flipping it back and forth. All right, so let's go back to some of that alternate picking. So, just making sure that everything, yeah, no problem, Tim. So just making sure that everything is really close. Everything, like even my palm. So my palm is closed, my pick is closed, my hand is in position, my shoulders are relaxed, my arm is in a line. So little movement, no tension. And that's also a huge thing. So it's all in your wrists. You probably heard that a lot of times. So don't be moving your arm a ton. You don't need to. So I've like barely moved at all. I'm not tired, I'm not fatigued, because I'm doing all these things that make it super easy. Yep, me and David are on the same page. So you don't want to waste any effort, anything. It should be easy. And a lot of that comes with working it up. And that doesn't mean it wasn't hard at one point, but then every other pattern gets easier and easier and easier because you already have these techniques down, and then it's just different shapes. So also having independent fingers. So some of the exercises we talked about before, like these quasi-chromatic things where we go 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you're really new at alternate picking, that's great. So going down, up, down, up. And it's chromatic, which means every note is right next to one another. So first fret, second, third, and fourth on the 6th string. Then I drop 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, then again. So now the 4th string, then again. But starting slow. So it's more important to be even and clean than it is to play fast. Remember, the speed will come in time. If you're having trouble, I don't know if I would use 7s. That's pretty light. I think Ingve is at 8s, right? But I mean, you could if you don't break them. But I'm just using 10s. I think 10s are a really nice middle ground. Because for me, since I teach a lot and stuff, if I need to drop a tuning or anything, it's really easy. All right. And if you like sweeping and you like alternate picking, there's also economy picking. I don't use this as much, but economy picking is a mixture of the two. So it's instead of, I know Jesse was saying that he found it hard a little bit when he's switching, right? So economy picking would be mixing the two. So when you're on one string, you'll alternate picking. But instead of going up right here, you'd go down again. So that's your sweepy motion, right? When we go all in a line. So that's another way to go about it. So, I mean, you could use 7s if you want. I wouldn't. You lose some tone. Okay, let's see. Oh no, there's one in a different language. I took Spanish, but I was so bad at it. I only learned how to say Yo toco la guitarra, which is really sad. No problem, Richie. All right, awesome, guys. So we're getting really close to our Q&A. So let's go over some of the things that we talked about. So pick placement, hand placement, relaxed body, how to hold the pick, all of this matters. But at the same time, I really believe that everybody's different. So these are just tips. What's easy for me might be hard for you, and vice versa. So at the end of the day, if you're comfortable, that's good. But there are certain things like don't pick like this. I mean, I say that, and then Marty Freeman does that, and he's phenomenal. So maybe you can do that. But for me, I got a huge injury, and it just wasn't good because that's not a very natural angle for an arm. You know, and my pick, instead of going in line with my body, maybe you can see it there, it was reversed. And so that's just not as comfortable looking. And my muscles and everything are just opposite of what I want. So for me, I benefited tremendously from being relaxed, everything in a line, and easy. Remember our 3 different ways to hold the pick. So, let's see. You can hold it like this with an open hand, closed hand, or playing. I find that one so hard. But remember, whatever's easy for you. and sweep picking. So maybe you can see this better. And so we're just going. So that's the hard part, getting that drag all in sync with one another. And maybe an easier example is, oh man, I forget the song. I think it's called Bigfoot. It's an Yngwie song. I think it's an Alcatraz song where he goes. I have to remember it. Let's see. Sorry, I'm getting delayed. Let's see. Let's just do those 4 shapes because that might be all I remember. There you go. I remembered more than I thought. Cool. So that's 2 strings. And also I think Miracle Man has a 2-string sweep, which is cool. So I'm on the 2 middle strings and I'm barring on the 4th fret, the 4th and 3rd string. And I'm going down, 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 up. So it goes down, down, up, but it's a drag. So down, down, up, and then up. So down, down, up. But you want it to be very one after another. It's a drag. Down, down, up. So it's not 2 separate picks. It's a drag. And then fast it would be. And hopefully you can see that my hand has very minimal movement. And then the next shape, I'm replacing the note that I was using on the 4th string with my middle finger now on the 5th fret, 4th string, and I'm going 5, and then still 4 to 7. You can even leave your pointer playing, and then just move that because the guitar only picks up 1 note at a time. So whatever's closest to, if you had an acoustic, the sound hole, or in this case, just your pickups. So, and then I changed that note again, one more step, with my, one more half step, with my ring finger now on the 6th fret, 4th string. And that's cool because it really gets you moving these fingers independently. So. 4 times each. And then the second shape we did, but now moved up, where my middle finger is on the 7th fret, pointer is on the 6th, and my pinky on the 9th. And then up again. And then back to that second shape. But now on 9, 8, 11. So all together, down, down, up. Remember that. I think that one's pretty helpful. So that's a very good intro lick into sweeping because it's isolating 2 strings instead of 3. And then over time, you just add in more strings. So when we add in these 3 strings, and really making sure you're emphasizing and dragging. So also one thing to do when you're practicing these is, because remember, practicing isn't always beautiful sounding, but that can be really beneficial. So one of my teachers would have me go, if I was ascending, I would go down, let's see, and I would stop when I hit the next string. So like this. He would have me stop my pick on that next part. So he'd have me drag it to the point where I'd stop it. So I know that's not beautiful sounding, but just to show you that you have control over that. So just over time, you can speed it up. But just make sure you're dragging them, and remember you can stop each string. So you can make your change. So I guess also the message in that is that you have to really learn to plant your fingers there just a second ahead of time so you can get that note. All right, so now we'll open it up to Q&A. So I hope those tips helped. And remember, your right hand is very important, and syncing the two is essential. So let's see. Yay, it was Bigfoot. It's an awesome Yngwie song. Every Yngwie song is awesome, but it was a good one. Oh, thank you. Let's see. This guitar is a Monarch guitar. They're very cool. I have another one that's gold with black lace on it, and that is my favorite guitar. It is super cool, and it turned out a million times better than I even ever imagined. Oh, and before I open up the Q&A, I want to give you guys your special link. So thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed all these tips, and I hope they helped. We have other videos up too, so make sure you check those out too. Of me and other teachers, and also songs and technique videos and warm-up videos. So here is a special code, like I promised. So this is to the Killer Guitar Controls Secrets. Sorry, I just have to copy it for you. And you probably see me on Guitar Control a lot now, but it's been around a lot longer than that. So this is for you guys for sticking around. So we're all about playing from the heart, which is sometimes not taught or hard to teach. And so what we're going to do is go over 3 different things. Techniques, which are things that we just talked about, hammer-on pull-offs, all these different things. Oops, sorry. Hammer-ons, pull-offs. Then fretboard knowledge, and I have to put one in YouTube, sorry. Fretboard knowledge and hand and brain connection. So what we talked about. Sometimes you know something in your head, but you can't get it out on your guitar. So we want to mix all 3 of these things together. If you check out these DVDs, it'll help you do that. So I'm also going to give you guys one in the YouTube chat. And if you use this link from watching this live stream, you get a special discount. And please leave us comments and let us know other topics you guys want to do, because we're going to be doing these regularly. So I will see you every Tuesday at this time. And there'll also be another teacher on Thursday. So it's really important you guys let us know what you want to learn too. But yes, check it out. And playing from your heart is just the best thing, because that's what you want to do. That's what guitar is all about. It's important to learn all these techniques and all these things that we're talking about, but you want to, I don't know, have fun and find your own voice and get other things out that are in your head. At least that's what I wanted to do. And I found it so much more rewarding when I do my own stuff and when I discover my own sounds. And so these techniques are all super helpful, and hopefully today's lesson helped you get a little closer to finding your own voice. And just using those techniques will really help. All right, so let's open these. You should always include in practice fun by jamming. Yep. David is giving a lot of good advice. So it's always fun too to make practice musical. So sometimes maybe doing like the same scale over and over isn't really that exciting, but if you take a scale you learned and use a jam track, that's really fun. And I'm sure you can find tons of free ones online, or you can buy them too. I used to get them from this certain brand, I forget what they're called, but they would be all in like one style, like heavy metal, rockabilly, blues, and you'd buy like 10 or 12, and they'd have all the different modes. And it was really fun. I would spend hours and hours and hours just improvising over them. Songwriting tips. For me, it's listening to Metallica. I don't know why, or it used to be. But I like to really listen to anybody that's super creative and have that inspire me to do anything that's creative. And just, it depends on what I'm writing, I guess. When I'm... Coffee break jams. That's good. I have coffee right here. I guess for me, for songwriting, it depends on what it's about. Like, sometimes it just comes out of you so quickly. Like, if I write a pop song, I find that to be really easy if it's about something that means a lot to me. So just picking up your guitar and just going for it, like if I'm singing and writing. If it's a metal thing, I usually try to listen to something else I really like and then think about, oh, that was cool that he or she, did this tapping lick that was really interesting. What can I do that's really interesting? And maybe not learn what they're doing, but use it to figure out my own things and inspire my own techniques. Okay, cool. The newest discovery I'm working on right now, let's see. I love slides and I love tap slides. So I really love anything. I like those. So mixing up anything like that. But that's something I always try to do. If I'm writing a solo or anything, I try and think, okay, because there's a lot of amazing guitar players. And so sometimes you're like, how do I stand out? Like, what can I even do? But I think, at least for me, if I take two things that are completely different and throw them in together, I think that is really effective and really helps me. I'm not playing in a band right now, but me and my fiance do a lot of metal holiday videos. So we did a Halloween one, and we did a Christmas one, and I'm hoping we're going to do a Valentine's Day one. But they're pretty funny. And sometimes our dog is in them, so that's pretty cool. And I'm working on a solo album. Okay, what pick gauge? This pick doesn't have the gauge on it, but Steven made these for me, and they're pretty funny. So, let's see. They say shredded knee, and they say giggle metal, and they have my face on them somewhere. It's really hard to figure out this camera for me. But I also use Dunlop, and I use 2.0s. I use a really, really thick pick. I think these are 1 point something, but really close to 2. But I usually use a 2. I usually use these, or a 2. But these are round. I used to use sharps. I used to swear by Dunlop sharps, and I still do like them. I don't know what changed for me. Like, I used to buy these kind of picks and take a nail file and file them because I wasn't aware they sold sharps. But I like to use these round ones now, and I like thicker picks. I like thick picks, and I use gauge 10. So these are GHS strings, gauge 10. Trills and slides with the crutch. Yeah, heavy metal blues. I'll take it. How long were you when you had to change your picking? Oh, geez. When I had to change my picking, I was pretty far along. And I was playing very seriously at the time. And it was really heartbreaking. And I thought it was like the end of the world. And I actually met Paul Gilbert at an MI thing. And I remember asking him, I felt so stupid. But he wasn't trying to be mean. It was really funny, actually, because it was very, I don't know, very logical. But he had also had a wrist injury. So I asked him, like, what did you do? Because I had heard some teacher going like, oh, you just play through the pain. And I was thinking, okay, well, I want to be just as tough as everybody else. So I'll play through the pain. And I hurt myself because I was overdoing it for an audition. And I didn't listen to my body when I should have just rested. And I ended up getting tendonitis and everything. And I asked Paul Gilbert, like, what did you do? And he said, well, when it hurt, I stopped. And I was like, okay, dang. I wish I had thought of that too. So there is a difference. Like, a slight fatigue is fine and totally normal, but pain is just, it's not good. If it hurts, just rest for like 30 minutes, even 5 minutes. And another teacher, when I was at MI, would say, leave your arms like completely just loose, like at your body, like no effort at all. And I always forget the number of seconds he said that it takes your muscles to recharge. So I always just say 60 seconds because it's the most amount of seconds you can have, and just relax for a second. So sometimes just these slight little breaks make a huge difference. So be smart. Smarter than I was. Okay. All right. Guitar picks. 3.0 guitar. You're using 3.0. Oh, wait, let's see. I was going to say, if you're using 3.0s with 7s, I don't know about that. Yep, Paul Gilbert's awesome. And he's very nice. I don't know him very well or anything, but I studied with him a couple times, and I studied with Bruce Boyer from Racer X too. Both awesome, amazing players and really nice people, and I learned a lot. But yeah, Paul is very nice. I always liked that he was like this super huge shred, like God, but like always very nice. Yeah, don't ever hold a pick or anything in a position that hurts. You just don't, it's not worth it. I think I might get these things later than you guys. Yeah, I don't, do they even make 3.0s? I thought I was crazy. Everyone makes such a big deal that I use 2.0s, but I love them. I can't go back. Like, Steven uses those nylon ones. He plays so fast with them, but I can't. I don't know why. I wish I could. But for me, I just feel like they're going to bend in half. My favorite guitar to play. I like my lace guitar. I used that one in the last lesson. I don't use it as much as I'd like to because I use it when I write my solo stuff. And so I don't use it as much as I want to in teaching, is what I should say. But it's my favorite guitar. It's got a really thin neck. It's just awesome. It's 24 frets. I have a whammy bar. And I love the look of it. I was so excited when I got to do that. I've been playing for Monaric for years now, and that was a really cool moment for me when I got to design my guitar. So that's my favorite guitar. I also have a really cool ESP, though, that I really love to play. They gave me a sparkly glitter one, probably because I'm the only person, well, hopefully I'm not the only person, but I'm a giggly metal person, so I think that's why. Matt is frustrated. Let's see, it's hard to follow what is happening because it almost sounds like there's repeat notes over a few times. It's a skill that I'm playing skill kind of fast. I don't know. I don't think so, but sometimes anything fast can be hard to hear sometimes, especially with distortion. So don't be frustrated though. Let's see. That's cool, drilling holes. David, you need to put all those picks that you're drilling on a drill, like the Mr. Big thing. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you learned a lot. Thank you for your questions. Remember, every Tuesday, I will see you at the same time with a different topic. So leave us topics. Check out that link that I put in below. So play with your heart. This is a great way to start that or take it a step further. So connecting our technique, our fretboard knowledge, and brain and hand connection. So mixing it all together. So thank you very much. Next week, same time, different topic. Last 15 minutes will be a Q&A, and then I'll see you the week after. So thank you so much. I'll see you soon.